This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to WCFL DolFans Talk. Hope everyone's having a good time today and a blessed beginning of your week. It's going to be a good week, no matter what you say. God lets you see another day, and here we go, bringing in my brothers from another mother. We start off with Mr. Winters himself.
What's going on, everybody? Papa Paul, what's going on with your brother?
Oh, you know, another day in paradise down here in Florida.
Oh, it's beautiful here. It's beautiful here in Philly, man. It's a beautiful 78-degree day here in Philly. It's finally warming up here. It looks like we're going to have a nice summer before it gets too hot and humid up here. But I'm excited about today's special guest, brother. I really am.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, me too. He's a good guy. He knows his stuff. You know, he throws together what he can, and it's like we do. We wait and see what actually happens. It's in the 90s down here, so it's already toasty.
Yeah, I'll say this. He's another one of the reasons why we do what we do, and gave me the confidence to be able to do what I am doing right now, and to sit there and finally to have him on our show. It's an honor. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for TD Phins Talk.
What's up? Let's go!
It's an honor to have you on today, brother. How are you today?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Just finished another show, spending time with the kids between, and now hopping on this great show, man. I'm excited to be here. Man, I can't wait to have y'all on my show sometime too, man. We gotta reciprocate this.
Just let us know.
For sure. We'll get it together soon, real soon. If we can.
So, are we just gonna just jump right into it? And can we just jump into it and just tell the fan base, don't jump off the ledge because Tua rejected one offer? Can we just say that?
Well, let me do a little thing first. WCFL Helping Hands Incorporated.
Yeah.
June 22nd, we are hosting an open house at the Hernando County Humane Society of Nature Coast. So if you want to come look for a puppy or a kitten or a dog or cat, or if you want to come down just to help us, serve food as we'll be doing and stuff, come on down and join us. You can connect with me through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, any of those sites, and just look me up and I'll let you know where we got to go.
Where is that? South Florida?
We're just north of Tampa.
Okay.
Brooksville. Spring Hill.
Okay.
Brooksville, Spring Hill. We're sort of in between Tampa and Ocala.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, we're just west of I-75. So, But yeah, just because Tua rejected one offer doesn't mean squat. I mean, he might reject 5 or 6 because of if Greer's going to build it to help the team if anything was to happen to him. I think it's going to be a battle to get a contract done.
Your thoughts, PD?
My thought. Listen, I think I'm glad that I hear that he rejected the deal. For a lot of reasons. It tells us they're not exactly close yet. But the reason why I need that, whether they do the deal or not, at least show me, Greer, that you're standing up for something. And I'm a firm believer they're going to pay him regardless, even if it's buku crazy money. They're going to eventually pay him. But show us that you care about making sure you're trying to get the best deal for the team for the long-term success. Because I'm one of those individuals that continues to say, if you couldn't win without the money, how much harder is it going to be when you get the money? It's not like it's going to get easier. You're going to have less around you. So, if they decide that they want to go ahead and give them the money, at least show that you're trying to make a good deal. So rejecting a deal means that the first offer was at least something that helps the team. And we'll, I guess, continue to see how it goes.
Well, I mean, a lot of people are talking about after that OBJ contract is that we're liable to be seeing a lot more contracts like that. Incentive base, which I personally feel most contracts should be incentive based, because if we're paying these guys big money, they need to reach certain goals in order to get that money.
Incentive basis for older players.
Yes.
But it should be anybody, you come up, look at Tua. He's not an older player. He's still a young player. Okay. But you look at his history of injuries and stuff. He's only had one good year. Now, if we make it an incentive base in a fact of he gets so much for every game he plays, that's incentive based. If he gets injured in a game, he's missing out on money right there. That's a minimal of incentive base.
Yeah, he's not going to go. I don't think he's going to go for any type of incentive-based contract. You're at a point in your career where some dumb team will give you the money without incentives. So you have to fight for that right. You have to fight to be able to be put in a position where you don't have to have conditions on whether or not you're getting paid. So I don't think that he ends up doing an incentive deal. I know Chris Greer is probably pushing for one. Now, if there are incentives, it's still going to be a high number. It just isn't going to get it over the top. So say 20150. If it's incentive based, it's not going to be a 35 and add incentives that can get them to 50. It'll be a 46 and add incentives that can get them to 55. So that's what I believe the situation is going to turn out to be. He's not going to take any type of incentive deal. And here's the deal. We could talk hardball all we want. What are the Dolphins going to do if he says, okay, you don't want to pay me what I want, then I'm not showing up to training camp? What are the Dolphins going to do?
Nothing.
There's nothing that they really truly can do. And some of us can say, well, play hardball. It is what it is. Make them play on the 5th year and franchise tag them. Well, guess what? You're not going to waste the next 2 years of Tyreek Hill, Jalen Ramsey, and all of those guys, because after 2 years, they're not going to be here anymore.
Right.
Like you can't afford this controversy. So this is why I feel like all of this is a waste of time. Just give the man the bag now, because you're gonna fold and do it.
Well, I mean, but there's more than likely there's something in the contract about his injuries, though. That
I just played a full season without getting hurt. Leave me alone about that.
I understand that, but they're going to put in there what I'm saying because of his history. It's one season out of eight years of playing football between college and NFL that he hasn't been injured.
Well, I'll say this. Can I answer that one? I'll say this. It's the job of the offensive line to protect me, for me not to get injured. And that's the job of the O-line for me not to get injured. I will prevent myself. Wait. I will present myself, and I will protect myself the best I can on that field to get to the targets I need to, the timing and all that. But I need protection also. So now if I go run out there, I know the consequences. But if I got a guy that blew an assignment on an A gap, B gap, whatever, or on the edge, and I get clocked, that's not my fault. We can have Cincinnati all over again, and that's not my fault if I can't see the guy.
And I agree with you 100% on that. I'm not saying that. I, first of all, have always said we need to build the trenches, just like you have, Winners. We need to build the trenches in order to protect our quarterback and open up them gaps for the running backs. You know,
I feel like the O-line. Okay, so I feel like the O-line hasn't been the major injury as of late because of the way the scheme is. We've actually ran the ball very well.
yes.
The protection has been good enough because we get the ball out quick. Then on occasion, this is the weird thing about the Dolphins O-line. This is the weird thing.
Yeah.
Against the good competition, they actually play well.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Right.
they are not. It's like I say, people say, well, why don't we do the tush push and stuff like that? Because we don't have the biggest O-line. Our O-line is not huge, but they are quick and they are doing their job the way they need to do it.
They're fitting into the system. But here's the deal. When you play, the only thing that matters on this team, it's not the week-to-week battle. It's not just the winning the games. At the end of the day, we need to start recognizing the only thing that matters in the NFL are the big games. The teams that you play in the playoffs. It's all that matters because that's what you're going to have to go through to get to a Super Bowl. All this Denver Broncos, Giants, Panthers, and all of those type of games, go win them. Good job. Let's keep it moving. But the real evaluation for any and everybody are the teams that are actually competing for a Super Bowl just like you. How do you perform against them? And I can tell you now, our coach doesn't execute well. Our quarterback doesn't play at the high level he plays against lesser competition. Our impact players make big mistakes. Our defense, I'll back up. Our defense, they're here and there because sometimes they actually play well against some of the better competition. So those are the areas that we need to focus on. The O-line against the great competition, believe it or not, they're not even really the issue. Those are the areas that the Dolphins need to really, lock in on. But nobody wants to lock in on those areas because Tua and McDaniel are the highlight of those areas.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what our defense does this year with a new coordinator and a lot of new players. And it could very well work out in our favor a lot. I can't wait. I can't wait till the end of July when training camp opens up to us because I'll be there the whole first week.
Nice. I'll see you there.
I know.
My whole thing with the defense is the fan base been clamoring and crying for an aggressive defense, and we're finally going to probably get that. But with aggressive defenses is more penalties, and that's a problem. Well, I hope we don't have that issue or that problem.
Well, I mean,
at a minimum.
Yeah, I mean, Chubb showed us that last year, but Chubb, I love the way he plays. That's
Right.
how football needs to be played, not this pussyfooting around.
Yeah, but in the same sense, though, with the rule changes and everything, we have to be very careful. You got to be careful. You cannot be playing those. Like, you can play smash mouth football, but it's a real thin line of it now from a great play to 15 yards and costing us a touchdown or a field goal or something like that.
Here's the deal. You said that you believe we do have a more aggressive defense. In what areas, though?
Well, I'll say this. I'm hearing from the system that Weaver's going to bring in, it will be a more aggressive defense, like a more of a Baltimore Ravens style type aggressive smash mouth type defense. That's what type of defense they had. So it will be different from what we've seen from Fangio, which is more of a bend but don't break. And he definitely is one of the least, he calls them like the least amount of plays on blitz wise in the league. Yeah. So he's more of a, like for Philly, it might work for Philly, but I know their fans are going to go crazy by week 4, week 5 when they don't get the blitzes and the rushes and the hurries and all that like they used to see with the other defensive coordinator. So, it should be interesting. My whole thing is I want to see what it's going to look like because like Papa Paul said, this is the third defensive coordinator in the tenure for Mike McDaniel. And now, like, that's tough. That's tough for any team to go through 3 different defensive coordinators in 3 years. And this is the
you're learning you're learning 3 different schemes and trying to, it's like, okay, wait, is this a new scheme or is that the old scheme?
Right.
Stuff like that, and
new terminology, new everything.
Yeah, I agree with I would agree with you, bro. It's like Weaver's system is more aggressive, but is the personnel more aggressive.
Right.
And here's what nobody wants to talk about, everybody wants to ignore. I am terrified for our defense stopping the run. I am terrified about our defense stopping the run. Let's get something straight. We just drafted a defensive end in Chop Robinson, who I absolutely love, but he ain't no run stopper.
Right.
It's actually his biggest weakness. Okay, being his tackling and run stopping. On top of that, your interior defensive line is literally just weak now.
Mm-hmm.
You have Zeeler and 8 other guys that you're hoping one of them shines that where they can live next to him. But let's call it what it is. That ain't good enough.
Right.
You know, you need a solidified guy. I mean, I know a lot of people say he's old, but that's why I'm not opposed to going to get Calais Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
I think he could really help us, you know, with his veteranness and what he does in the run game.
Right.
It's almost like we forgot about 15 years, right, of never being able to stop the run.
Mm-hmm.
We were so bad at stopping the run for a period where that's why we went and spent all that money on Ndamukong Suh.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people forget that we were in dire need of a run stopper because year after year we couldn't. So we went and got Ndamukong Suh. Then when we moved on from Ndamukong Suh, we still went and invested in a position with a whole bunch of nice, really good piece guys.
Right.
And to the point to where we even drafted Christian Wilkins. You know, because we knew based off of history, the turmoil we had been through at that position when you can't stop the run. And now I feel like we're about to go right back into that old era of not putting an emphasis on that position. And this is why I get angry, because this is so Miami Dolphin. Over time, what up, Tom? Over time, we continue these cycles where we care about a position group. And then after 10 years, we abandon it because we care about another one so much, forget it.
Right. I agree. I agree.
So
100%.
will we be able to stop the run this year? That's the real question.
There he is.
Tom and John.
What's up, gents?
Sorry, from work.
What's up, fellas?
How you doing today?
I'm great. Yourself?
What am I catching myself up into? What are we talking about?
The defense is right now.
I'm sorry, what was that?
The defense.
The defense?
Yeah.
I mean, if we get our edge guys back healthy, they're going to benefit from the back end guys too. It's kind of like opposite of what we did last year, where we had healthy pass rushers and was helping the weakness in the back being so light. So then they're going to flip it this year, where they're going to focus primarily on, until those guys get healthy, you're going to have three safeties. You're going to have the 2 outsides. You know, you're going to try to load the box, and the D-line's going to get help from Brooks. Brooks is the thumper that we haven't had since Zach. Pair Brooks with Long. You got speed, athleticism to fill those holes. You won't need Wilkins to plug 2 holes to get Baker 3 yards downfield, killing somebody off his ass. So I think that'll be helpful for us, at least on that.
Yeah, my only concern right now is, you know, we got how many defensive linemen signed. We need a couple of them, 2 of them, step up during training camp and make a name for themselves, because we don't have any of the guys we signed. There's no big names there.
Have we heard anything about? I'm sorry, John. Have we heard anything about Jonathan Allen?
I haven't
heard getting thrown out there. And they got me Brown. We don't need a receiver, but Jonathan Allen would be a nice D tackle if we could swing it for the right price.
Well, we got that $18.5 million opening up, so
those are facts.
I'm not sure they're going to use much of that.
No, I'm not sure either.
I think they're going to try to push over as much as they can into next season.
Absolutely. They usually push like 10 to 12 every year in case of emergency anyway.
Yeah, last year they got burned. They got burned last year because all the injuries.
The one time
we were calling guys off the couch.
Right. And then we had to use it on Cutler that year. But we always carried to be safe, and you're right, last year burned us, of course, the 1 year.
Yeah, because they got extensions they have to get done. Waddle, Phillips, Holland.
Yeah, Holland's got to get done this year.
Man, oh man, those extensions going to be real interesting.
Of course.
Well, with what you see receivers signing for now, you can only imagine Waddle's going to be looking at Tyreek money, $30 million a year.
Yeah. I think we'll be able to get it done at 28, but here's the thing. Holland, man, that's 20 million plus.
Oh,
yeah, he's the important one because you can't tag him.
Yeah. And past Holland, Waddle's gonna want his now, just so you know.
Right.
And if you push Waddle forward to the next season, you are gambling like you did with Christian Wilkins and Robert Hunt.
Yep. Exactly.
Much better player. Impact player.
I think somebody's not going to be here. That's just what's going to come down to. You know, like I tell everybody, you want to sign everybody, but realistically, you cannot sign everybody. So somebody's not going to get what they want.
Well, the two players that won't be on this team next year after this season, Bradley Chubb and Teron Armstead.
Yeah.
I just don't see it.
No, I agree.
And then after that, the year after that, Tyreek Hill,
he's going to
potentially Jalen Ramsey and Raheem Mostert, all gone.
All gone.
Well, I mean, they filled Raheem's spot already. If this kid Wright works out,
right?
You know, Ramsey, that's a tough fill. I mean,
you can continue with Ramsey. It's just the money doesn't say it unless you're going to extend. Now, here's the deal, though. This is what terrifies me about our future. And a lot of people don't like to talk about this either. But when we spent all that money 2 years ago and last year, it messed us up for 2 years from now. Because Christian Wilkins, Robert Hunt, not Tyreek Hill, but Waddle, Holland, they all should have been signed right now.
Yeah.
Locked in for the future. People say, yeah, but we weren't going to pay Christian that money. We weren't going to pay Robert Hunt that money. The truth is, we should have been able to.
I mean,
they should have done it the year before.
Exactly, but we couldn't do it the year before because of all those contracts we signed.
Right.
I mean, you know what they did, though? When they offered him a contract and they declined it, they immediately signed their backup plan, Tyler and Austin Jackson. Well, I mean, Jackson is a backup plan. You know my point.
Well, I just thought about that, too. Jackson isn't even under contract after this year. No guaranteed money.
Yeah.
He got a new deal, but it wasn't worth nothing.
Right. That's why it was like, we'll take that. 3 or 36 and it's only going to get money for a year, too. Sure.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is John said, we should have signed him last year, but they kind of turned it down. Well, we lowballed him last year. If we would have gave them what they were asking for last year, we would have got a discount on what they got this year.
Well, I think market the Hunt. Last year's market, 13, 14 range for a guard. I mean, no one's turned down.
Exactly. And we allowed it to get up to the 20. Christian Wilkins, you could have secured that for 23, 22, 23. Yeah. But when you're offering 18 and he bet on himself and now he's getting 27 or whatever,
right?
We did that.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of the guaranteed money. He didn't mind the per annum money. It was the guaranteed that he wanted. He wanted over 50. And at the time, before all these new D-tackle deals, there hadn't been any D-tackle over $49 million guaranteed. Now you got 4 of them.
Man,
the only saving grace we have is after this class of Waddle and Holland and Phillips, the next 2 years, we have nobody to re-sign.
It got to all happen in the draft.
We just got to get hit on.
Right.
Right.
We got to hit on guys there in the draft because we have 2 years back to back where we either didn't have enough picks or we didn't hit, at least so far, because we don't know anything about Kendall, what he can do, if he can do anything.
But here's the issue with that, though. It's going to be hard, almost impossible to get this team back to where it is right now and what it was last year from a talent standpoint. Waddle and all of those guys are replacing the big contracts. Now you have to find 6 to 8 guys that can come in and fill those spots and be at that level. What are the odds of that happening in the next 2 years?
Not very good.
And that's the issue that the Dolphins have for the immediate future.
Well, I mean, the good thing is we got how many compensatory picks next year? You could always package some of those for a trade. Mm-hmm. You don't have to have 12 or 13 picks. You can go with 8 or 9 and package something for a trade for somebody.
Well, we're not in a position to do many trades because we're not going to have the money because we're about to pay these guys.
Could get a
Well, yeah, I
rental,
mean, a
though.
lot of it depends on what we sign them. Yeah, how long we sign them, what we sign them to, what their guarantees are.
I think is it's about to get real tough. I did want to ask you guys a question though, about this season. Did you all do any early record predictions yet?
No, I know we did, but I'm with my brother right there at the bottom left. I'm a wait and see type dude. I'm not doing that until I see. I gotta see what I got. 4 eyes. I ain't wearing my glasses, but I got 4 eyes. I need to see with my own 4 eyes before I make any predictions numerology wise. I'm not doing it.
I mean, last year I made a prediction right after draft, and I was only one away. But this year, with the whole everything the way it is, I got to at least see training camp before I make a prediction.
Yeah,
I want to see what bodies we got before I make that call.
The final 53.
Yeah,
I don't even need that.
I'm the wait and see guy. I tell these guys all the time, let's wait and see what happens. And when the final 53 comes out and I see who's on the roster, then I'll make my first prediction.
I mean, it appears favorable early on.
Yes.
But, you know what I mean? Like how last year was. We had the second ranked schedule, strength of schedule, and they ended up being the 26th. Good teams fell apart with injuries and shit the bed. You know what I mean? It could happen just like that for these other teams. You have teams surprised like Houston last year. You could have someone come out of the woodwork this year and be that surprise dark horse. So it's really hard to say good and bad this early.
Odell came out, our new wide receiver, Odell Beckham, came out and basically had a little bit of a concern about the schedule. He's a little concerned at the fact that we got 7 turf games. He tweeted out, man, give me some rest now. Is turf really that hard on people?
Oh, absolutely.
There's no give.
TD, look at it this way. FIFA will not play on turf at all.
Yeah, they're paying to take it out of MetLife Stadium just for the World Cup, and then it can go back to the turf when the Jets play. That's crazy. That 2 billionaire owners that play in that stadium for the Jets and Giants don't want to switch to natural grass, which is unknown to me, considering you had, 5 injuries of your own players and 14 over the last 4 years?
They're like being super cheap to not want to maintain the grass.
Right. And they're making FIFA pay for it. He was like, fine, we'll pay for it, no problem. We'll take care of it. It'll be whatever, a couple $100,000.
Make them pay for it and keep it and pay a crew.
Bingo. How hard would that be? Split the cost. You could even split it with your concerts. Taylor Swift brought him billions of dollars just having a concert there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my.
If you've never played on turf, I used to play indoor soccer and it was on turf. And basically it's cement with little rubber pellets and then the turf laid over the top of it.
Mm-hmm.
So the rubber underneath when you fall or something is supposed to absorb you from falling on the cement. But that's all that's underneath there is cement.
The problem is the lateral cuts.
Right. It doesn't give.
No give.
When you go to make a cut on grass and your foot slides, it'll slide out from underneath you. When you go to make a cut on turf, your foot don't slide. That's why they blow their ACLs, their MCLs, their Achilles, because there's no give.
Bingo.
You got to be used to that stuff.
Here's
but even
what I thought about. What about signing Justin Simmons to a 1-year vet minimum? Because that's what he's looking at right now. He's going to be on a prove-it year and hope next year's money comes around for safeties because there's a ton of safeties still out there. But I think Simmons is the best fit of the 3 of them. I know the Eagles are looking at him hard. So
yeah, I've been hearing the Eagles very hard. CBS just put something out. I want to get y'all thoughts on this. Miami Dolphins front runners to sign Ryan Tannehill.
I've been hearing that for weeks.
No thanks. Dalton Reisner, sure. Ryan Tannehill can sign a 1-day contract. Thank you for your services to the organization. You can retire. Goodbye.
Hold on. You wouldn't want Ryan Tannehill to back up Tua?
But you're going to pay what? You're going to pay more than
over Mike
White.
Over Mike White and Scott?
But you want to give up what? 10 of the 18 million we got left for Tannehill?
No. Of course, if it's an easy nice little deal,
So it's got to be less than 5. You think he's going to take less than 5?
Who knows? You
Dude,
know,
I'm gonna
He
say
wants a
this.
chance
I'm gonna
to
say this,
play.
Tom. Wait a minute, Tom. I'll say this to you, Tom. I'll say this: to sit there and have a chance to come back to a Miami Dolphins team where he feels like it was incomplete. That O line wasn't. I'd say our O line now is
Well, it
better than the O
wasn't.
line we had when he was
It
playing.
wasn't. I mean, I
I'll
like
be
Ryan when he
honest
was
with
here.
you.
He was a warrior. He got his ass beat for 4 straight seasons and kept getting up.
Absolutely.
He caught a bad break on the ACL on a non-contact, and then tried to do stem cell and it didn't work. But this
Right.
team right now isn't geared to Tannehill either.
why do you
And-
think that though? Why do people think this team isn't geared to Tannehill?
I think it is.
Because
I
it would have been
think
geared
it's
toward going to
more
college
Tannehill.
more than now. His
Nah,
early career,
I-
yeah. I think
This-
anyway.
Well,
I
see,
think this is the perfect offense for Ryan Tannehill.
So you're
Because
trusting
what-
Skylar Thompson over Ryan Tannehill is what you're saying.
Who? Not me.
Not me.
No, I'm asking. Are we trusting Mike White and not Ryan Tannehill? Are we trusting Mike White and Skylar as our backups as opposed to having veteran, proven, players at this point?
So you're saying, so now cut back to it. So you're saying you'd rather Tannehill than Tua, because if Tua's done, then the season's pretty much 30-70 anyway at that point.
No, I don't agree.
I'm saying no. What I'm saying is, are you guys comfortable with Skylar and Mike White as your backup in case if Tua gets hurt, knowing that he's going to start scrambling more, being more mobile? Are you guys content with our backups at quarterback? Are you
Not at
okay
all.
having a quarterback
For the
into
cost,
minicamp?
maybe. Depends on contract. It depends on the money. If the cost is the same, no, obviously Tannehill. If the cost is more, I'd rather spend that extra money on Dalton Reisner or a D tackle or someone that could be helpful right now.
Well, of course.
So-
You know what I mean?
So with
it's
that being
more
said-
valuable to say that.
Now, with that being said, I don't mean to hijack the show here. You guys are doing great, and shout out to you guys, man. Listen, I just feel like at this point, if Greer fulfilled his obligations with the draft and free agency, and we have a little bit of leeway to pay our rookies, why is it that we're feeding this forced narrative of we have to do this because Tua's going to free up cap space for us, like if he's doing us a favor? At this point, I think Greer's done a hell of a job.
And I don't understand this notion that we need to sign Tua now so he can free up cap space. What
We
do
have
you
2
need?
more years. He's under
What do you-
contract.
what do you need cap space for right now?
Right.
No, I mean,
I agree. I'm the first one to say, let him play this out. Tag him next year. It'll be like $47 million.
And pay him if he balls out this year.
yeah.
Extend him big time.
Exactly.
Oh, trust me, we
If
said
he
that on
goes out, we
our
have to pay
show
the
a lot.
premium. And we have an owner who's a billionaire who wouldn't mind paying the premium as opposed to setting the market without knowing.
Right.
I mean, pros and cons with that.
Well, let's weigh the pros and cons though, because this is what people don't like to do. We talk
So right
about
now,
the
who do you replace
pros.
him with?
No, we're not replacing him. That's the point. We're not replacing him at all. We're just saying play out the 5th-year option. If you stink, we gotta make plans for the future. If you play great, give him the big bag.
Right, but then
What's
you
the
give him
big
the big bag, and then who you're not going to pay because you're not going to have the money to pay him.
You give
The
them the
Phillips
big bag now. Who are you not going to pay? It's not that big of a difference that people are making it seem. 50
But if
million
you-
versus 55.
That's now. The market's already jumping. You know what I mean? You could give.
Yeah,
you could
but
probably- it's close.
What's the market today?
I mean, you got 50 to 55. You got Dak Prescott already asking for 60 plus.
No. But that's not his annual. That's only because they backloaded it.
Yeah. Well, that's
Dak's
what he's asking for his
annual
new
is
deal.
under 50. Dak's annual is under 50.
Yeah, he's
so what
asking
I'm-
for 60 plus. As I'm saying,
Well, I'm not
because he
sure
only has
about
1 year left too.
Yeah, so my thing is this though. If you give Tua 50 now, bro, what's the difference between giving him 57 next year?
I
On an annual.
it might not be that much, but it also could cost Waddle between 27 and 30. You know what I mean? That 3 to 5 between him, the 3 to 5 with Phillips. It's close. It's a gamble. I'm not saying not do it. We're just laying it out there. You know what I mean?
Well, here's my thing. Do we ever talk about paying Tua now and then he stinks?
Yeah,
Give
we
yourself
talk
an
about
out.
that, and it is the outcome of that sucks.
But
Like
give yourself
which?
the out. Write the language where you can give yourself the out. Almost
Yeah,
make
but-
it like a 3-year deal where you have 2 years worth of money.
But they're not gonna accept that.
If the money's right, he might.
It's not. You can give him an annual of 55 a year. He wants guarantees that are 3 or more years. That's typical.
Anybody would, right?
So
Well,
I
our
mean,
biggest dilemma is these other teams have done this with quarterbacks, and Tua has sat there watching. Joe Burrow's got a huge contract.
And
Herbert
missed
got a
2 or
huge
3 years.
contract and has done nothing.
well, he's
And
done
that's
more than Tua.
no, he hasn't.
See, I'm glad we bring this up. Nobody can tell me what Tua's done more than Herbert because you forget about Herbert's first 2 years.
But what did he do with that? They didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, he did go to the playoffs. He did go to the playoffs. At least he put up 27. Tua hasn't done that. So when we talk about who's done more, Herbert's actually done more than Tua. They both lost, but Herbert played better. He put up better numbers. Record. Yeah, but you can say that, but he's the only quarterback in the NFL that in his losses, he averages 28 points. You don't point at him and say he's the reason.
He also quantifies for a lot of those losses with a fourth quarter interception.
And that's not true either. Tua has more fourth quarter interceptions than Herbert. You got to look it up.
In losses.
No. I'm talking about in losses. You have to go look it up. When you look at the data, you'll see a totally different story. The only problem with Herbert is that it's amplified.
Well, you got 3 with a concussion on Christmas Day. That boosters those numbers for Tua.
Well, it's still a part of it at the end of the day.
I guess. I mean, if you look at game by game, I think it's a lot closer than what, you know what I mean?
I'm not saying that it's far, but the notion that Tua has done more than Herbert, technically not at all. You got to go back to Herbert's first 2 years.
I just hate the whole argument that we all have to – I hate the argument that we have to pick and choose. Why don't we just appreciate the 2020 class as one of the best classes we've seen in the last 30 years?
Oh yeah, but my problem is these teams wrapping up 23% of their cap in their quarterbacks, and now every other quarterback wants the same thing.
Yeah, the Eagles didn't help anybody with the whole receiver thing too. They got 47% of their cap between 5 players.
Well,
I'm not mad. Giants did. How did the Giants sign their quarterback to that contract?
Exactly. I'm not mad at Herbert, Burrow, and all of them getting money. I'm mad at Daniel Jones getting money. I'm mad at Daniel Jones.
I'm not mad at any of them. If they're going to pay you, take it. I'm mad at the teams for doing it because they're pushing it down the road to other teams that, hey, I'm better than that guy. I deserve more money.
Hey, I agree. And that's what the problem is.
John, we had this conversation, John. No, this club trying to get him in.
I can't hear
Cap, you're breaking up, Cap.
Cap, we can't understand a word you're saying, brother. I'm sorry.
We'll bring you back, Cap. We'll bring you back.
I thought it was me because I was getting close to my house.
No.
You're still good, John.
It might go out just for a second as I walk up the stairs.
There he is.
What's up, Lewis?
Hero.
Lou, what up?
I guess he's not. I don't know what's going on.
Well, I'll say this to you, gentlemen. We got about 20 minutes to go, so it's not a 2-hour show. Just giving y'all a heads up. Lewis, you there, brother?
Short and sweet's good with me. I'm tired as hell.
Yeah, I actually had to.
Where you from,
John?
John?
To you guys driving home.
Where you from, John?
I live in New Jersey.
Jersey,
man, it's a lot of you guys. And winners, you in Philly? You said,
sir.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the three of us are only an hour and 20 minutes apart.
If that.
What about Tom?
Jersey.
Tom's
Actually,
in Jersey.
I didn't know this, and Saul didn't know this either. But when he was like outside doing videos one day, I was like, "Yo, I recognize that." Ended up, he's living 1 street over from where I was living when I went to school at LaSalle.
Wow,
like dead ass
Literally.
craziness.
Literally.
I was like recognizing the background. I was like, "Yo, is that B&O? Is that Chew Street? Is that like whatever?" And he's like, "Yeah, I live here. What's up?" I'm like, "What? I lived on 19th and Chew. It's crazy."
And I live 15th and Chew.
No.
So do you guys go to any of the games?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
John goes to all the home games.
Nice. Are you going to any of y'all going to the Buffalo game in Buffalo?
No.
I haven't. I did that one years ago. I haven't done it in a long time because their fans are idiots.
I'll just ask, and that's one I'm doing this year, and I'm doing Jets Dolphins in Miami.
Nice. I'm doing New England and New England, October 6th. I'm going up to that game. I'll be there for the Thursday night game, week 2, and I'll probably come down for fan club weekend against the Cardinals. That's the 27th.
John and I both are season ticket holders in Miami. And I'm going to try to go to the New England game up in New England.
That's awesome.
And I might see if there's one other. It all depends on funds and timing and everything. With the way they got our schedule, it's hard to do some things.
Nice.
Yeah, they hurt my plans. My red circle before the dates came out, they completely shit the bed on that one.
Right.
I wanted to do Cleveland, Houston, the Niners, and Green Bay, and they put them all like 6 out of 7 weeks in a row because the Jets here is my home game. So I'm going to do Monday night versus the Titans at Indy. I'm going to try to do at Green Bay, Niners in Miami, and then Jets here.
And we got some tough games this year, man. Lou.
I know, it's nuts, dude. Nuts.
Well, it's funny you say that because
Lewis,
they say we have the 22nd or 24th easiest schedule.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
No, that's not what I saw.
are you there now,
I'm telling
Lewis?
you. Look that one up. It says the schedule. We're like 22 or 24. I'm like, you got to be crazy. But then again, like last year, they said we had the second hardest, and Rodgers didn't play 2 games. So when they factored in this year, they're factoring off wins, losses of last year, which the Jets obviously didn't do well without Rodgers, so they're going to be a better team.
The Colts will be better.
Mm-hmm.
Colts are better.
The Titans will be better, even though the Titans will be better.
Absolutely.
Houston is a problem.
Okay, everybody. We got about a little over 15 minutes. Lewis is available now. What you got to say, Lewis?
What's good, fellas? What's good?
What's up, Lewis?
What's up, TD? Long time no talk, homie.
I'm good, man.
But when I think about these contracts in the NFL, we don't even have to make it a quarterback thing. I know we will, but it's about the guaranteed money, right? It's not Major League Baseball. It's not the NBA where everything's guaranteed. So when I look, I think a lot of people get caught up in the 53, 54, 55 million. Most of these guys don't see those contracts. If they're balling out by the 3rd, 4th year, those teams are ripping up those contracts and doing something else, right? So like the Jared Goff, we'll take the most recent. He signed a 4-year, $170 million contract, guaranteed $170 million. If you do that over 4 years, bro, it's $42.5 million. I believe that's the sweet spot, right? That's where you want to be. I could care less. They could come out today and say Miami signed Tua Tagovailoa for a $500 million contract, right? If 160 of that is the only thing that's guaranteed, I'm good, right? I think people get caught up too much in the overall numbers, and that's why there's so many arguments. Oh my God, is Tua worth 55, or is he worth 55 million? I would say no. To me, and again, I support Tua, right? But I don't believe he's $55 million worth. I believe there's one guy that should be making that kind of money, and we all know who that is. It's the real boogeyman in the AFC and the NFL in general. It's Patrick Mahomes, right? I think Herbert with $218 million fully guaranteed. I think he got overpaid. Burrow at $219 fully guaranteed. I believe he got overpaid. Look at Deshaun Watson, a fully guaranteed $250. What he's shown since he's been in Cleveland, he's grossly overpaid. Listen, at this point, all quarterbacks, including Tua, are probably going to get overpaid at this point. I would just end it with this, fellas. For me, I look at the guaranteed money. And if that guaranteed money, if we're looking at a 4 in front of Tua Tagovailoa's number, I'm good with it. Anytime we get into the 5s, that's when I start having a problem. But 4, if there's a 4 in front of that number, dog, to be honest, gentlemen, I'm good with that. I don't know how you guys feel, but that's where I'm at.
Hey,
you're
Baker
saying just
Mayfield
the
had a 4.
guarantees, right?
Kirk Cousins had a 4. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a 4, bro. Especially if you're over 4.5. There's nothing wrong with it.
He's talking about a 4 of just the guarantee divided by the term of the contract. I agree.
As long as he's willing to restructure, as long as he's willing to restructure like Mahomes and Tom Brady did for us to win, that's what matters. And we're going to find out if he's willing to take a team-friendly deal.
Well, we'll definitely see. We got about 10 minutes left.
Yeah, I
Definitely.
think it was like a
Capitalize.
4-year,
So let me
225 or like 180,
let
180,
me
190.
say
You know what I mean?
let me say this though, Lou, about the guaranteed money. So it's different ways to look at it. The way you're looking at it, it's fine if the player ends up working out and being a long-term guy because you can play with it. Again, it does us no good if after a year or two he ends up not being a guy and we want to move on, and here's why. So say you do like hypothetically 120 million guaranteed, hypothetically, right? And that number is a 4 in front of it. The problem is in the first year, you know how teams are, they only want to do 10 million of it. The second year, they only want to do 23 of it. See, and then if you say, I don't want the guy anymore, even a 4 in front of it, you're screwed because that 4 is now a 5 because you didn't do 4 throughout each year. You started out real low. So if he ends up being the franchise guy, then the 4 is beautiful.
Win. Yeah.
The real argument is we still don't know if he is the long-term answer. And that's the issue.
Well, what I would do in that case though is kind of like what the Ravens did with Lamar Jackson. I front load the hell out of that contract. Like if let's say to TD scenario, let's call it 120 million, which I don't believe it's going to be that. I think it would be higher. But let's just stay with that number. If 120 million, right? But let's say the Miami Dolphins give Tua a signing bonus of 80 million, right there up front, 80 million. Now, and basically, you only owe him, and if it's a 4-year deal, out of those 4 years, you'll only owe him 40 million left of that 120, right? So let's say that is the case. You front load the hell out of that contract, and in the next 2 years, you could probably move off that contract anyway if he's not working out, right?
Right.
Am I correct on that, TD?
Well, not technically, and here's why. A lot of people try to associate the money you give the player with the cap scenario. Those are two different things. I can sign Tua today and give him $120 million check. That has nothing to do with the cap allocation because he may only count 20 million in the first year, but I gave him a check of 100 million. You see what I'm saying? They're two different things. The signing bonus is what we're giving you up front to put in your pocket, but we're not taking a hit immediately of that amount. You see what I mean?
But don't that lessen the amount of guaranteed money you have left? Like I'm just saying, let's say the 120 is guaranteed. The signing bonus is like 80. Now you only owe 40 million of that guaranteed money left on the term of the contract.
Again, you got to look at it like this, Lou. I only owe you 40 million, but from a cap standpoint, I still owe 100 and some million.
Yeah, the books versus the
bank. Okay. See, that's where I was
how much I'm giving you versus the actual books that account every year.
Right. Well, I get it. Yeah,
people say that signing bonus. Oh, give them a lot up front. Hey, you can give them the money. That's why restructures. Players are happy because they get a big check right away. You still got to account for the cap, and you might spread it out in voidable years. So all of that is possible as well. But I will say this, man. Everybody knows how I feel about Tua, but I've come to a realization, who are we kidding? They already made it clear they want to get it done. Give them the money. I don't care if it is a 5 in front of it and 50 million. At the end of the day, the only thing that I want the team to do at this point is make sure that after 3 years, we can get out of it if it ain't working. Because that's a very fine line. That's going to depend on how much guaranteed money you give.
Ian, we're only on about 10 more minutes today.
Hey, I want to give a quick shout out to my man TD. What's going on, man? I had to show you some love.
What up,
What's going on?
How you feeling,
doing,
man?
brother? I'm feeling great, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, listen, we could do like a scenario where Jared Goff, I hate to do it like this, but we gave up a first-round draft pick. They had to give up a first-round draft pick to give up Jared Goff's contract, pretty much, essentially.
Yeah,
what does that mean for the Dolphins? What are you trying to do?
I'm saying though, if Tua doesn't work out, we could easily give a second round or third round to another team to take on that contract down the line.
If they want to take it on.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm just saying though, hopefully we can find an option like that.
Leverage, bro.
I don't know about that.
Tua's got the leverage now.
I think Tua has the leverage now, and that's why I was telling people, if I'm Tua, I am sitting out right now. You got Mike White. You got Mike White and Skyler. Sit out, bro. Make sure you get every penny you can possibly get. Now, from a team standpoint, I don't want to pay him because I still don't know 100% who you are when I put less around you. Because, ladies and gentlemen, less is coming. It may not be this year or next year, but less around him is coming. And if it doesn't come, that means you're investing in the offense and you're letting the defense suffer. It's coming. It's inevitable.
Well, listen, this is the worst case scenario. But when I hear everybody say that Tua has all the leverage, in my opinion, I would say no, he don't. And this is why, because the Dolphins already got you locked in for the 5th year at $23 million. The following year, I could franchise you, and the next year, I could franchise you. Now, I know we don't want to live in that world, but realistically, the Miami Dolphins have Tua Tagovailoa under control for the next 3 years.
No, Lou, I'm not playing on the 5th year, Lou. What you gonna do? You gonna waste Tyreek, Chubb, Ramsey for the next 2 years?
Well, again, if you don't play, let's say you are Tua Tagovailoa, TD, and I'm talking to you, I'm saying that's fine. You ain't got to play, but every Monday when that direct deposit's supposed to hit, you ain't getting paid. Now it's on you.
I'm okay with that. Let's see you suffer. Let's see you actually waste Tyreek Hill, Ramsey. Let's see you waste these guys.
It's just hard for me to imagine a world where a player, again, listen, it's easy for us as people like what we do. We come up here to give our takes. We don't wake up every Monday morning and there's a deposit waiting of $300,000 in our bank account. None of us wake up like that. It's hard for me to see that Tua Tagovailoa is in a position where he's going to sit back and say, you know what, I could sit out this year. I'm good. I'll bet on myself. I don't know if he's doing that.
Here's the difference, Lou. Tua got to get his money now. And
he's going to get at it.
Them trying to make him, because think about it, Lou. Everything he's ever worked for goes down the drain and he has an injury. Everything he works for goes down the drain if he ain't as good this year. You cannot bet on yourself if you Tua Tagovailoa this year. You need to do everything you can to ink a deal now. You have to, bro. It's too risky for him out of all people. With especially the schedule come out, you look at the gauntlet.
Are you really wanting to play chicken?
Yeah, I get it. See,
to Lewis's point, do you really want to play chicken though?
I'm giving you two different sides of it. If I'm Tua, I'm holding out because I need my money. If I'm the Dolphins, I'm not paying you all that right now. I'll go down the long road. I see both sides, but I'm just telling you if I'm Tua, what I'm doing. Because I'm not going to gamble on myself and take that risk. All it takes is for me to have a non-contact out for the season, and my whole stock is done.
With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, hold on. With that being said, folks, I want y'all to sit there. We're going to have some wrapping up. I'll give everybody a minute to sit there.
Hold on, winners. Hold on. If everyone wants to stay on, I'm just going to drop us off of Huddle Sports Network, and we can keep going on YouTube and everything else.
Well, I got to get going. I got my dinner in front of me, so
that's fine, John. I understand.
Good to see everybody.
At 6, so
yeah.
If you want to keep going, winners, Tom,
I'm going to eat in about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's good to see everybody.
Same, John.
Phins up.
All right, John.
And by the way,
good night, John.
Okay, go ahead.
If you don't mind, I'm gonna do a shameless plug. I'm doing a special interview with DG Live tonight in the Blender. So
nice,
good stuff.
Later on today at 6 or 5.
We'll say there's 3 organizations.
There we go.
That do their contracts real well: the Dolphins, the Eagles, and the Ravens. So I think they're gonna come up with something happy medium where it's like incentive laden. Amount of games played. There's got to be health clauses in it to protect the team, but there's going to be something to protect Tua in there as well. I feel like they'll come up with something by like July, August.
Well, Tua has to be under, in my opinion, and this will be my final thought, Papa Paul. Thanks for letting me up.
No.
Listen, what's good, Shake? What's good? See, for me, I believe Lamar Jackson, it was either Lamar Jackson or Jalen Hurts. One of them got $185 million guaranteed. I think it was Lamar, right? That was before this season. Lamar had an MVP, playoff wins. He's been a division winner. and he was an MVP of this league. He only got 185 million guaranteed. I think Jalen Hurts was a little bit under that. He was just coming off a Super Bowl. As much as I like Tua, right? Like, at the end of the day, bro, there's no division titles under your name. There's no All-Pros. There's no playoff wins. You can't be higher than those gentlemen. It just is what it is. I'm willing to give Tua. I think he's done enough to earn a contract. But if we're talking about resetting the market and making Tua Tagovailoa the highest paid quarterback in the league, I don't think he's deserved that. And that's me trying to be as fair as I can to everybody. The fans, the organization, Tua Tagovailoa himself. You've done enough to earn a contract. It's just depending on what those numbers are. So, gentlemen, with that, I'm out. TD, always good seeing you, homie.
Salute to you, Lou.
Shake.
Have
You
a good night,
know,
Lewis.
Papa Paul.
Much love, my brother.
That's just where I'm at. But y'all gentlemen have a good day.
You too.
And on Lewis's point, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't even think that narrative is true that Tua's asking for to be the highest paid. I just think that a whole bunch of people are like, pay the man, make him the highest paid, or I don't even like. And if it is true, it's like you don't want to be mean and say the audacity, but it can't be true, right?
It's hard to see that. Look at his character. It just doesn't seem like that type of person.
Well, it ain't about his character. It's about his agent.
Change agencies for a reason.
Of course. I mean,
Yeah,
the other thing that hurts the whole thing he just said a
You
little
change
bit.
agencies for a reason.
Absolutely. Is that every year the salary cap goes up. It's resetting the market just a little bit by itself. Whether they're going to give the contract or not, the money's there to give the contract, and it will continue to keep going up.
Man, but the problem with the salary cap going up is that teams are now allocating too much towards the quarterback. So say the salary cap
positions. I agree.
Say the salary cap goes up 10%. The problem is we're increasing the quarterbacks by 20.
Right.
So that's where the issue is coming.
I mean, average tackle is about 20 to 30.
And to your point, listen, Jared Goff's this is Jared Goff's second big contract. His first big contract was worth like 20-something million. Now that's peanuts in today's market.
It's crazy.
Well, we need to go around the room and give some last words. We only got about 2 minutes left because we are on Roku and stuff. We have a 1 hour time limit. So I know Mountie and Sharif, you got up here late and stuff, but if you have anything to say, go ahead and say it.
Hey, as always, it's always good to, whether I'm on the panel or just listen to y'all, it's always great to interact with y'all, whether I'm up here or not. So, Godspeed.
Thank you, Mountie. You have a blessed day and a blessed week. Sherry, if you have anything.
Yeah, man. First of all, hello to everyone. Phins up. I love you all. We have this off season we're dealing with. I just want to bring this perspective to the conversation when it comes to the X factor. We all know there's an X factor, 6 man off the bench in the NBA, maybe a second line in hockey, maybe a key relief pitcher for the Marlins. So I think the X factor is this. Tua has been working on his core. With Flores, he's been working on his different throws, dropbacks, and different touch. We've seen the videos over the years. And now Proform, shout out to him, he's been taking Tua and working on quickness and lowering his weight. And why I go back to X Factor is if Tua can extend at least 20 to 30 different plays off platform or do what he did against Arizona or the Jets because he's lost the weight, I think the X Factor becomes how many first downs. We don't need Lamar. We don't need.
Sorry to cut you off short, Sharif, but I have less than a minute to go. So
sure, go ahead.
Winners, let's go. Just have you finish it off, winners.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on Roku today. I want to thank our special guest, TD Phins, talking to everybody that joined our panel today. Shout out to Shake Money, Tom, John, Papa Paul, Sharif, Cat for Life, Lewis, and Mountie. And with that being said, look for us on Wednesday night at 8:45 p.m. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, peace, love, and Phins up. Have a good one, y'all.
Y'all have a good night.
Thanks for having me, fellas.
Yep,
Thanks
thank you, TD.
Thanks for coming on.